Not good. Okay. All right. So tonight I am kind of excited about this presentation because I just did my radio show. I try to do the topics sort of in themes. It helps me with my research, and also I kind of select the topics based on what you guys are buzzing about. My radio show producer asked me how I possibly come up with all these topics, and I said, well, because I go with what the buzz is amongst my clients. And literally when I got done with the show today, I looked at my phone and somebody had texted me a message asking me for advice on what to do with the 3 o'clock uh, eating hour, and that desire to want to crunch and eat and have chocolate at that 3 o'clock hour. And believe it or not, today's topic actually ties into that because portions and proportions and getting that right will help you avoid the pitfalls of the munchies and the pitfalls of overeating or undereating, the pitfalls of filling your plate too much and filling your tummy too much. And then, of course, the pitfalls of not seeing the results that you want to see. And certainly now that we've started this new session, it's always interesting that I have, the different tiers of people. And at this point, I have some of you that have been with me for years. And when I check the logs, I still see the same repetitive mistakes. And it's not that it's a mistake. I think it's just habit. We are creatures of habit. We fall into these habits. I myself, and I'm going to share this later, I did last week too when I was talking about it. I even fell into the trap of my of a bad habit, and I skipped a snack last week, which created a bad eating night. And it's just what happens every once in a while, and you have to be aware of it. But when it boils down to it, the bottom line is, in order to be successful, I've sent you all of these amazing tools. I've sent you documents, and I've sent you meal plans, and I've sent you all of this toolkit. But if I had to put it all into one simple statement, it would be, simply put, don't let yourself get to the point of hunger. And we do that too much. We get to the point of what I call stupid hungry. When you're stupid hungry, it's too late. And I have to say that the big key to my success in being able to keep my weight off for the last 6 years, that I've been able to maintain my weight at a weight that I never imagined I would be in my 50s now, without needing to measure and log and do everything that I had to do get me to this point, is because I am always aware and I'm in tune with my hunger. And it is my top priority. I have to say it's probably even more of a priority than getting a workout in sometimes, because and I'm not discounting the workout. Workouts are important, but days come and go, and sometimes you just don't get a workout in. But no matter what, a day does not come and go where I will not drop, I will not drop that ball. I will not let myself get stupid hungry. Because if I get stupid hungry, it's over. It's thousands of calories done. And you become illogical. And that one day is not going to ruin you. But what happens is that one day of off track eating could become the demise to the avalanche that could occur. And for many of you that are just starting this, you're not strong enough yet. Emotionally, your metabolisms are not strong enough to handle having an off-track day that will set you off and derail you. Those of you that have been with me are tier 3, loyal. You understand it now. You understand that an off-track day means you can get back on, and I'm hoping you all will get there to that point. But the big picture is always get in front of your hunger. And it does not take a lot of planning. I'm not talking about being Betty Crocker here. It's just those little things. You're already eating. You're just sometimes making bad choices. Okay. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and start the, I'm going to share the screen. And first, before I share the screen, I better not give away the last slide like I did last time. 1 second here. Okay. Let's try that again. And there we go. Okay. Can you guys all see this? Yes? Okay. Okay, portions, proportions, and pitfalls. Setting yourself up for success. For success. Understanding the portions, and I'm talking about what you have on your plate, what is on there, the proportions, the amount of things on your plates, pitfalls and slippery slopes, which is kind of what we just talked about, understanding your hunger levels, and becoming in tune with your body. Those of you and a lot of you that I caught a glimpse of that are here have hit their goal weight. And at the end of this, if we have time, if they're willing, I will love to hear from those people. Becoming in tune with your body. That is the best way to state it. When you are in tune with your body and you understand when you're hungry, you understand when you're full, you understand when your weight goes up and what you have to do to get it back down. It's like playing a magical instrument. You know exactly how to tune it. And once you're there, it's the best place on earth, like I've said many times. All right, so count grams from essential ingredients toward your macrogram goal. Okay, so this is really, really important because once we start getting into our measuring of our grams, and a lot of you now that have started the meal plan are eating off the plan, but what you have to know is the essential ingredients are the ones that we are looking at. If you're eating bacon, and the bacon has 10 grams of fat, that fat does not count toward your fat. It's fat, it's going to go in the fat category, but that's not going to help you lose weight. Can you have it? Sure, you can have it. But what you have to do is focus on having that healthy fat. So I'm going to give you an example of how this works. So I pulled up, oh, great. Now I'm not gonna be able to get, I gotta get that back. Hang on a second. All right, I'm gonna have to do this the other way. Okay, so this here is the Fitness Pal. Okay, can you guys see this? I pulled up someone's Fitness Pal, and what I did was, I don't know if it's too small for you guys to see, but what I did was I literally just randomly pulled someone's MFP today, and I circled in green the essentials, and I circled in red the non-essentials. Okay, so the egg, 13 grams of protein was essential protein, so that counts. But scrolling down here, the bacon, 5 grams of the bacon was protein. And so since bacon is a meat, 5 grams of that protein goes towards a protein goal. The 2 grams of fat, though, from that bacon does not go towards her fat goal. It's there, it's going to count, it's in her total. However, as you can see here, she still had to eat avocado because the avocado is the healthy fat. Now, since she put bacon and Hidden Valley Ranch on this sandwich, 7 of the 20 grams of her fat were unhealthy fat source. So is this ideal? It's not ideal, but she did get her healthy fat in there, but half of it was unhealthy fat. So my point in telling you this is when you look at healthy fat versus unhealthy fat, you really should try and get your proportions where the bulk of it is the healthier fat. And if you go through and you look at the meal plans, as I have them prepared, they are very highly bulked with the healthier ingredients than the unhealthier ingredients. Okay, so the point in me bringing this up is every once in a while I will have somebody that will say, well, my portions are fine, my proportions are fine, but they're not using the right ingredients to get those measurements. Okay, and as I go through people's Fitness Pals, this is what I look at. The other thing that I look at is the proportions. As you can see here, of her 1,400 calories, it's very well proportioned out. 314 calories for breakfast, 376 for lunch, 352 for her dinner. Oftentimes I go on people's Fitness Pals and I see 65 calories for breakfast, 52 calories for snack, like a random half of an apple, 789 calories for lunch, 812 calories for dinner. That's not proportioned. So as you can see here, this is proportioned a lot equal. And that is what your body needs. And I'm gonna get to this as I continue. Okay. All right. Hopefully that's the only slide that I screwed up. Oh, there it is, much bigger. Okay. So in the big picture, if she had too many things circled in red, she would not see as good of a result. Even though the numbers would be there, the unhealthy ingredients would not get her there. Okay. And I'm so mad because the one thing that I have to show you is over here. I created for you guys, and I'm gonna put this all on the new member website, an updated essential ingredient list. The one that you have right now is in your meal plan, and it's great and everything, but this one's a little bit more clear and a little bit more cut and dry. These are the essentials, okay? Of your proteins, they're all right here. 4 ounces for women, 25 grams per meal. 6 ounces for men, about 35 grams. And I've listed them all, okay? They're pretty much all on there. I don't think I forgot any. And if I did, there's some blank areas here for you to fill them in, okay? So any one of these is considered an essential protein. Carbohydrates, these are all the essentials. I plugged them all in there. Somebody asked me yesterday, how do I put a carbohydrate, complex carb on my salad? And that was a great question. So my answers were, well, you could put a half a cup of quinoa on your salad. You could cut up corn tortilla, make some strips, put it on your salad. Put some corn on your salad, beets, butternut squash, sauteed. So these are all ways that you can incorporate the complex carbs, no matter what meal it is, okay? But the rule is it should be 100 to 150 calories, 30 to 40 grams per meal. Now, if you're a tier 1 person, you don't need to worry about this because your meal plan is already created this way. If you're a tier 2 or a tier 3 person, your meal plans are already created this way. The reason that I am telling you this is because inevitably you're going to want to have the freedom to create your own or sub things out, and plug in your own essential ingredients. And furthermore, when I do go on your Fitness Pals and I do find things that need to be corrected, when I explain things to you, I might say to you, you need to plug in a healthy fat. And if I do, then you have your entire chart right here. 80 to 100 calories of a healthy fat, which is 15 to 18 grams or about 1 tablespoon. And they're all listed here. The healthy fats don't coagulate. So butter coagulates. Coconut oil, surprise, surprise, is considered an unhealthy fat. It coagulates, right? So it is not in liquid form. All of these other ones are in liquid form. Obviously the butters aren't because it's a minced up nut, but peanuts, peanut butter, actually peanut oil is a healthy fat. Cashews, cashew butter, almonds, almond butter, sunflowers, sunflower seeds rather, sunflower butter. So if you have a nut allergy and you could do sunflowers, any nut and nut butter or nut oil. There's walnut oil even. There's avocado oil, any seed oil. Flax seeds are a fat. I still have remains of my breakfast here, and the flax seeds are in my oatmeal that I'm obsessed with, and that is my healthy fat. You could put flax seeds in stews and soups and salads. You can even use sesame seeds. Those are a healthy fat. Sesame seed oil, chia seeds, egg yolk, olive oil, salmon. Now, salmon is a unique one, and so is the egg, because both of these are going to fall in the category of a double. If you eat an egg, it's a protein and a fat. If you eat the salmon, it's both as well. Grapeseed oil, mayonnaise, if it is olive oil mayonnaise or avocado mayonnaise, and it cannot be the light. If it's light, then it doesn't have the fat, and you need the fat. And then obviously, if you don't like, have an allergy, or just a rush, you can also just take fish oil tablets with omega-3, and that would count as a healthy fat. Okay, so I have this all set for you guys, and I will send it out in an email tomorrow, along with putting it up on the member website, which I will show at the end of this presentation. Okay, all right, so these are the essentials, and they are a total must. It's a huge game changer for not only your metabolism, but for how full you are when you are feeling full. Okay. And the feeling full part is huge. All right. So food scale versus measuring cups. All right. So shocking, you guys. Would you believe that already next week I am sending out month 2 meal plans? And I know some of you just signed up. If you signed up a little late, you're already going to get your month 2 meal plan. And it's okay that you just started. You're just going to get new recipes. But starting in month 2, I am going to ask that members use the scale and measure everything in grams. And I'm going to explain why. And it's actually so much easier. Once you do it, you'll never want to go back. It's less messy, it takes less utensils, it takes less time. And it is so much more accurate, so much more accurate. So food scale. The one that I recommend is this one here, is the one that is on your Amazon list. I have it down here somewhere. And it is not only reliable, but it is really inexpensive. When you push the button on there, you get a couple different views. You get the gram, you get the unit that you can change. And you can see here that I can change it from grams to, I guess it won't let me do it when it's up in the air, to ounces. And we're going to measure in grams. If you notice on the back of your labels, every single ingredient, every single nutritional label has the conversion of anything in grams. And this is what makes it really, really convenient. So what you do is you just keep pushing this button until you get the gram unit. Okay. Gram unit. So easy to see. Okay. And I'll talk about that in a little bit. It makes using measuring cups really obsolete. Okay, so let's weigh a few things. First off, units of measure: cups, ounces, tablespoons, teaspoons, grams. Everything will be grams. Everything will be grams, and you will be so used to it. Initially, it's going to seem very foreign to you, but once you understand the language, it will be the best conversion that your brain makes, because there will be no confusion for you whatsoever. You will know exactly what a gram is and what the gram conversion is for a tablespoon. I instantly know 1 tablespoon of peanut butter is 16 grams. I just know that. I know 1 cup of cottage cheese is 230 grams of cottage cheese. I know that. And what's good about that is if I'm measuring my cottage cheese, and I put my cottage cheese in this cup, we all know I could shove more cottage cheese in this cup and fit more in here. And I know that's not going to make that huge of a caloric difference, but a little bit here and a little bit there is going to add up. And where the substantial difference will be is in other things. For example, if I said a cup of grapes and you put in a cup of grapes, but Perfect Patty put in a cup of diced grapes, guess what? Perfect Patty just tripled her calories, because you're going to get 3 times more diced grapes in here than you are full ones. Whereas if I said 50 grams of grapes, there's no question. Okay. And believe it or not, that's where a lot of people go wrong with weight loss, is that unit of measure, because that adds up accumulatively. And that first month, that second month, the weight comes off, but then when it starts to stall, we need every accuracy known to man. Okay. Here's a nutritional label. When you notice on the back, every single one has grams right next to it. There's no question. So when you are grabbing these healthy veggie straws, and this one here says 38 veggie straws are 130 calories, then if you happen to count them, you know that 38 of them are 130 calories. But if you grab the bag that doesn't tell you, and it's just this random 1 ounce of veggie straws is 150 calories, like who knows what that is? You don't. But once you have a handle of what 28 grams is, you're gonna know. And you don't even have to have a food scale out with you. You're just gonna know. You're gonna understand what 28 grams is. It's gonna make sense to you. Okay. All right, on FitnessPal. When you go into FitnessPal and you're selecting your units, you'll notice that it will say a cup, and you click this little arrow. Some of them will only give you one choice. And then you're like, well, how do I find the grams? So if you selected this blueberry and it only showed you cup, then go back on FitnessPal, go back to blueberries and find another blueberry option that gives you all of these choices. There's so many in the database. And so this one here has cup, grams, berries, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so I'm gonna find this one here with grams, and I'm gonna save this blueberry entry in my MyFitnessPal because I want the one that is in grams, because that is the one that I'm gonna use, okay? So as you are going on FitnessPal now for the next few weeks, if you notice that your units don't have the gram, find one that does, okay? The only thing that we're not going to really measure in grams is meat. Meat will be still measured in ounces, because it's so much heavier. So that one we're going to keep at ounces, okay? And that's just the gram. All right. So when to weigh? Here's the other thing: raw, chopped, whole. I just addressed this with the grapes. This makes a huge difference. A cup of oatmeal raw is really different than a cup of oatmeal cooked. A cup of quinoa raw is really different than a cup of quinoa cooked. So, but if I said to you 50 grams of quinoa, it wouldn't matter. 50 grams quinoa is 50 grams quinoa cooked raw. Same. So do you see how it's clear? There's no making a mistake, flat out. It is just what it is. So now don't panic because your meal plans will still have both conversions. I'm not going to take away the old ones. I'm still going to put on there a half a cup, but I'm also going to write the grams so that you can double check yourself. Okay. All right. So here is the spill. Check this out. Almonds. 520 calories for a cup of whole almonds, 780 slivered. Big difference. You put those on your salad is not as light anymore. Oatmeal, 150 for a half a cup, 318 for a half a cup. 220 for a half a cup, 624 for a half a cup. And believe me, I have seen people make these mistakes on FitnessPal for months and months and months, where I will look and go, oh my God, you've been eating a half a cup of quinoa raw for, I mean, it's an instant mistake. And 700, 355. So very substantial, very, very substantial. So keep your eyes peeled for that stuff. I've already talked about this. Don't look at percentages. Proportions are grams. We're not looking at percentages. I'm so happy. This is like I don't know, whatever week we're in. And I think this is the first session that I've had where not one person has said that they have looked at the macro pie. Either I've scared people away from saying it and they're afraid to say that to me, or I think it's setting in that do not look at the percentages, because look at, you have some places that'll say, this is your macro, you should be at here, you should be at here. You should be at here. This, or this. Which one? Which one are you? It doesn't matter, because the bottom line is this beautiful example of this gorgeous, perfect meal has 45% fat, protein, and this is wrong, 30% fat and 25% carb. But like I said last week in the presentation, so does this. So the percentages don't matter. The essential grams matter. Because if we were to run this through that chart of essential ingredients, this one would be circled in red, head to toe. And we don't want that. Okay, so let's talk about pitfalls of hunger. And this is really important, because not only are the percentages, or not percentages, the grams important, the proportions and the portions, but your top priority is to not allow yourself to get to that certain level of hungry. Again, I called it stupid hunger. And I've used this analogy before. It's the exact one that I've used many times in presentations, and it's the one that I used in on my radio show that you guys could listen to next week. But I give the example of having a baby. And those of you that are parents can remember back to when you had this little toddler. And if you haven't had a toddler, a puppy, or think to middle school, if you ever had to do that experiment where you had to carry around that virtual baby that cried every 2 hours if you didn't feed it. Regardless, what happens to babies if they don't eat in 2 hours? They start crying, right? They cry. They cry loud. So think of yourself as a baby. Think of your needing to soothe this baby. And in order to keep yourself happy, you must always be prepared. You must always chase those hunger hormones away. And this is where I said my top priority, no matter what, my brain is always thinking, I cannot let myself get hungry. I got home from the radio broadcasting today. I looked at my watch and I went 5:30, 6:30. I won't be able to eat until 7:30. It was 4:30. I ate something. Was I hungry at 4:30? Not really. But I knew I would be too hungry at 7:30. If this was a baby, the baby would be screaming their brains out at 7:30. And that's what you have to always think. You might not be hungry at that time, but think 3 hours from that. Always think that. And just like a baby or a virtual baby, don't say, well, I just ate breakfast. I'm not going to be hungry. I'll make it till lunch. You don't take that chance with a toddler. You're not leaving to go to the mall for 6 hours without bringing a bottle with the toddler. You are bringing snacks. You are bringing a bottle. You do that for the toddler. You're doing it for you. So throw a protein shake in your bag with some nuts. Bring your apple cheese stick, drawing a blank, with you in the car. The excuse of, well, I don't know how to pack it. It's not that hard. Figure it out. Bring a little cooler with you, just like you did back in the day when you had your babies. Because you cannot let yourself get stupid hungry. If you get stupid hungry, you are going to derail. That is just the bottom line. And every single time somebody texts me and says that they overate at 3 o'clock, I will 1000% ask, did you have your snack? And they'll say yes or no. And if they said yes, it's usually not a snack that has the essential ingredients, the 25 grams of protein, the healthy fat, the carbs. It's usually what we used to consider a snack, a healthy snack. Some trail mix, some granola. You look at the essentials. We have to keep the hunger away, or we're going to have a screaming, crying baby. And the screaming, crying baby basically is going to be you overeating and making illogical choices. And so I created this chart, and I'm going to also give this to you. And this is something that I really want you to start paying attention to. It's something that I've always used with my my runners, my athletes, but it is a hunger and satiety level chart index. And I want you to really become in tuned with your hunger levels. And so I'm gonna show you this chart and kind of go over it. And I'll even start asking you when you say to me you're hungry or you're not hungry. This is no different than the hospital charts when you go and they ask you your pain levels. One is you are starving, you're famished, you're dizzy, you're weak, you have a headache. Very rarely do people get to a 1. This is if you, for some ungodly reason, just have gone all day without food. 2 is you're very hungry, low energy, you have hunger pains, you're thinking about food and your next meal. This is typically if you've gone 6 hours without food. Number 3 is you're hungry, your tummy's starting to feel empty. Number 4 is you're starting to feel hungry. You're not thinking about food, but you would eat. And so 4 is typically, that happens right around 2 hours after you've eaten. Again, you're not hungry, you're not thinking about food, but if there was something there, you might eat it. Okay. 5, comfortable. You just ate. You wanted more, but you avoided it. You're not hungry, you're not full, you're just right. And really that's where you should be when you eat. When you've eaten your meal, you should be there. Comfortable. You want more, but you stopped yourself. Satisfied. 6, satisfied from your meal, but you weren't strong enough and you went back and had another helping. So 6 is okay, depending on how big that other helping was, but most likely it was more than you should have had. 7 is you're completely satisfied, you're a tad full, and you won't be hungry for a while. So you definitely don't want to be a 7, although 80% of Americans fall in the 7 to 8 range. 8 is extremely full, stomach feels heavy, and you regret overeating. 9 is uncomfortable, your stomach hurts, you feel sleepy and nauseous. 9 is usually a Thanksgiving full. 10 is you've overdone it, food that no longer tastes good, stomach hurts, point of sickness, you just can't eat anymore, you're so full. And 10 is usually like it's just a self-sabotage, like you are just on this mission to overeat. And so what you need to do is always know you need to always be in this area right here, comfortable. You never want to get yourself 2 to 3. You never want to be at a 2. If you're at a 2 or at a 1, you're going to overeat. No matter what, you're going to overeat. And so it's very simple. It's like not watering your plants. If you don't water your plants, you're going to have to overwater them later to compensate for not watering them earlier. And when you overwater them, they're going to want to absorb more water. And that is exactly what happens when we don't eat. We go too long without food. You can't put yourself in that position, because that is going to cause you to overeat. And it's also going to cause you to like the feeling of 7 and 8. There are people that like the feeling of 8 and 9. There's been a lot of research done that overweight and obese people like the feeling of 9. They think that that is fulfilling. And so you have to reframe your thinking on that. Okay. And then I've even put that on here of where you should be. So 4 to 5 hours after eating a level 2, you shouldn't go 4 to 5 hours without nutrition during the day if you are following the principles of the meal plan. Okay. All right. And keys to success: manage your portions, weigh, measure, and log. This way you know what you're taking in, of course. And not only do you know what you're taking in, but you know what you are getting in the proportions, which is number 2. You know what your protein is, you know what your carbs are, you know what your fats are. So often it's ambiguous and we don't really know, and that throws off the number 1. And then it certainly throws off the number 3. Stay ahead of your hunger. Plan for your success. Just always know that you're going to be hungry 3 hours later. Even if at the exact minute you don't think you're going to be hungry, plan on being hungry. Like I said earlier, today at 4 o'clock, I wasn't hungry. At 4:30 rather, I wasn't hungry. I had my 25 grams of protein and my 15 grams of fat. And guess what? I'm sitting here right now and I have that empty feeling in my stomach. I think I would say that I'm at a 3 or 4. I feel hungry. So if I had not had that 4 o'clock snack, I would probably eat my arm off on the way upstairs, and I know I would do damage. So don't put yourself in that position. And in a sense too, it's going to keep your metabolism going. It's going to just keep it going, because the metabolism of a teenage boy is raging because they listen to their bodies. They're in tune. My metabolism is fast because I, again, have gotten it there. I just told you I ate 2 hours ago and I'm hungry already. It's systematic. A lot of you have told me you don't feel hunger. If you don't feel hunger, your metabolisms are sluggish or you're overeating. If you are eating to the level of feeling full all the time, levels 7, 8 on the hunger chart, you're never going to feel hungry. So you're overeating and you're not letting that food digest enough to ever feel hungry. So you're never in a deficit. Therefore, you're never going to lose weight. So you need to start feeling that empty feeling precisely every 2 to 3 hours. Just like a teenage boy. They eat till they're done, and 3 hours later, they're back for more. So It does take a while to get used to it, but believe me, once you do, it's crazy how your body will just become this steam engine of burning. But again, it has to be the right nutrients. I highly doubt if I ate 300 calories of cheeseburger and French fries that I would be hungry right now, because those aren't the right types of nutrients. So, questions?
I have a question.
Yeah.
Okay, so now that I'm on I'm at 7, I think.
Mhm.
Sometimes I'll go back to have a snack or a meal from an older month, like month 1, 2, or 3, and I'll go put it in my fitness pal. I'm like, oh, because I wasn't paying attention to the portions back then. I was just following the plans.
Yeah.
And I'll go to make something. And I'm like, oh, I can't have that. Like, it doesn't have enough fat in it. So I won't eat it then. Or should I still eat it and just be like, okay, it's on the plan, it's fine? Or should I add more to it?
At your point now, because you are at a different level with a different curriculum, what you want to do is add more.
Okay, so still follow these. If I find an old recipe, make it fit this.
Yes.
Yeah.
Also, too, what I would love for you to do, because I've updated a lot of the recipes.
Okay.
So if you haven't reprinted the newer
I
ones,
do them all from the cookbook thing, except for the ones I don't have.
got
So
it. Yeah. So for example, if you're making something and the fats are 6,
Mhm.
you need 18, because I know this came up with you with the rice cake.
Yeah.
Add more flax seeds.
Okay. So
Add more.
it'd be a matcha shake for snack today, and I'm like, oh, only 9 grams of fat or something like that, or 6 grams of fat. So I didn't have it. So I had something
Yeah.
else.
No. Add more.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks.
I have a question about weighing. Like you said, the oats they weigh less when they're raw, right? Like oatmeal. Like if you're weighing oatmeal, to eat like a half of cup of oatmeal weighs less, or you should weigh it when it's cooked.
No, what I would do is I would say 40 grams of oats. You would weigh it raw.
Oh, okay. Because I was gonna say, if you weigh it when it's cooked, you're cooking it like with the milk and everything.
Yeah, right. So also
Okay.
too, with rice and quinoa and noodles and oats, depending on how long you cook it, I like my quinoa al dente. I don't like it when the seeds open real big. So my half a cup of cooked oatmeal, I'm going to get a lot more in my half a cup than someone that cooks theirs and it spirals out. So what I meant by that was, it would say 40 grams dry. You would measure it dry, and then you could cook it in whatever you want, and it would absorb. And yeah.
Okay.
Good question.
Thank you.
Hi, Irene. I have a question for you. Okay, so still trying to get used to the plan. And is it okay to do meals and snacks out of order? Like, okay, so it doesn't, because they're balanced, they're all kind of around the same. It doesn't matter as much. Okay.
It absolutely does not matter if you're following them right off of the plan. They're all literally the same.
Okay, cool. Okay. And then I have one other question for you. Prepping ahead. Okay, so can you, and maybe there's even another video about this, if so, just direct me there. Can you give some suggestions about, like, if we do have a day that we're going to delegate for prep ahead, what are some, especially as we're just getting started? I'm feeling a little overwhelmed and I want to plan and get myself as ready as I can. What are some things that you would say are absolutely like, do this, get this ready in your fridge, stuff like that?
For sure, the freaking chicken. What I'll do is I'll give you, Denise just started this last week, everybody. So what I'll do is I'll give you, I'll send you the freaking chicken. You have to make the freaking chicken. Basically, get yourself set up with chicken for the week. But I'll send you the meal prep video. And coming up I don't remember, I don't have it scheduled yet, but sooner than any of the other ones, I'm going to do another meal prep workshop to get it going. But yeah, I'll send those to you, and then it'll get you going for sure. But the chicken for sure. And then also my other big advice is don't, especially you, she's a realtor in 2021, so she's got no time for anything. Don't spend a whole day in the kitchen. I mean, it's, you got to spread it out. Spread it out. You know, put the freaking chicken in the crock pot, go sell your houses. The next day, put something else in the crock pot, go sell your houses. You don't have to spend a whole day in the kitchen.
Well, that's what I'm running into right now is I'm trying really hard to plan. It's because if I do not plan the day, like what I'm eating for the whole day, then it goes to shit.
Yep.
So I've got to like have stuff ready. So
Yep.
Yeah.
I'll send you that video. It'll be really helpful.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah. Any other questions? Laura, can I pick on you?
Yeah,
Laura,
sorry, my dog was being
it's
weird.
okay. Can I pick on you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sure, go
So-
ahead.
So Laura is a tier 3 member. And Laura, how much have you lost?
About 25 pounds.
And she lost it really shockingly to herself because nothing else was working for her, right?
Right.
And so I want to find out, do you follow these principles of never letting yourself get hungry?
Yes. In fact, I have a question about that because, as you know, I've been traveling a lot. I have a girlfriend who lives in Florida, so I go visit her a lot. I'm going back again next week. And when I'm down there, all the girls are together and they think I'm crazy because they're like, oh my God, you just ate and you're thinking about when you're eating next. Like I'm always thinking like, what time is dinner after lunch so I can like figure out what my snack is. And they all think I'm nuts, but I'm like, oh, whatever.
Yep. No, and I
Lunch at noon, but we're having an 8 o'clock dinner. I'm like, I got to figure that shit out. Like I have to have something. I will die.
yep.
And I'll
I
eat
agree.
all the appetizers at dinner. So yes, 100%. And it is the key. And there are times I will have my afternoon snack. I don't do a morning snack because I do a 9 o'clock lunch, a 12 or 9 o'clock breakfast, a 12 o'clock lunch.
Mhm.
I don't have the calories too that allows me to do 3 snacks. So then I'll do a 3 o'clock afternoon, even if I'm not hungry. I make sure I eat it because I know I'll be starving. And I eat dinner at like 6. So perfect. And then my bedtime snack.
Yep.
And I'm never hungry, ever.
Same thing.
This thing
It-
ever.
It's the key. Now, can you share, have you ever had a slip where you didn't have your 3 o'clock snack and you've overeaten as a result?
Oh, probably. I can't think of a specific example, but I'm sure. But I'm pretty good about eating snack.
Now, and I know for myself, I feel like I'm always eating, and I think my best friend tuned in tonight. Betsy, are you here?
Yes, I'm listening.
She'll tell you I'm always eating, but she'll also tell you that I eat extremely slow.
Too slow.
And I'm done when I'm full. Like I will stop when I'm full, and then 2 hours later, I'm making her stop and get me more food. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but
Or she digs in the bottom of her purse looking for whatever she has.
but years ago though, I didn't do that, did I?
No.
She's been with me through the rough. So just again, very important. And the best analogy is that screaming baby. It's like you just, and I was telling someone the other day, I will be, and I'm always rushed, I'm always late, I'm always getting speeding tickets. I will be out the door and I will grab a cup and I will throw cottage cheese in there with almonds and berries and take it in the car. And in fact, I could take you out to my car right now and you could see all the solo cups that are in there with spoons that I haven't cleaned out yet. It is a must, because on the way there, I might not be hungry, but on the way home, I'm going to be. And it will prevent me from stopping and doing something stupid on the way home. I mean, it's what happens. So you just have to be prepared. all types. Okay. Other questions?
I have one more.
Yeah.
Okay, it's about the oats.
Yeah.
So I think I screwed that up this morning. So, okay. Is there a difference between steel cut and like, because I have steel cut oats.
Yeah.
I made the oats. It was this giant freaking bowl of oats that I was like, there is no way I can even eat all this.
Yeah, the steel cut, and that's just one thing I never really got into. I bought them for the first time last week. They're different, and that's where the measurement will be better.
Okay.
So I'll send you the conversion for that.
Okay. Yeah, I'm like, I know I'm supposed to eat. This is too much. Like I couldn't even eat it. It was so much.
Yeah.
So I just stopped.
I think it might be
Half,
I'll have to look.
maybe half. I'm thinking half.
Yeah, I think half.
It seemed like it when I was looking at the portion. I'm like, holy crap.
Yeah.
But also you had mentioned that you make them ahead, which I would like to do, like make a batch. So where do I find out how to do that?
I'll text you.
Okay, cool. Thanks.
Yeah.
I have one more question.
Yeah.
So you said you stop eating when you're full, right? You stop eating, or not full, but you feel good. So how do you enter those calories? Because like eating going in for that second helping, could you also eat too little by doing that?
No, so what I do is if I'm glad you brought that up. I don't eat off the plane anymore because
Oh, that's true. But yeah.
So for you guys, your portions on the plan is exactly the right portion. So you shouldn't stop eating halfway through your meal, because then you're not going to get the right amounts of protein and fats and carbs.
Okay.
Okay. So, but for example, I go out to lunch and I order what I order. I'm not trying to lose weight anymore. I weigh 115 pounds. I don't need to worry about, I'm at a place where I want you all to be, right? Laura, you're coming up on this, like you're there. At that point, for me and for anybody getting to this level, I have taught myself, and you will too eventually, by eating these portions and these proportions, to stop when you're full. And I know, so for example, last Saturday, my husband and I went out for Mexican, and I ordered an entree that in a million years I knew I wasn't going to eat. And I ate like a quarter of it in the time that it took him to eat his monster meal. And one of the ladies in the program here walked in and of course was like, is that a plate? And because it looked ginormous. And I literally ate a quarter of it, which in my mind was probably 350 calories. And I said to her, it was early. I plan on eating more of this in 3 hours, because I would rather eat a little and then I want to feel hungry 3 hours later and I want to eat again. Instead of sitting there eating it all and then being so full that having a stomach ache later.
Yeah.
Do you get the difference? So your meals as they are all 380, 400 calories. They're set up to train you that you're going to feel full in 3 hours if you stick to those portions.
Okay.
And I don't know, Laura, do you feel like you have that kind of, and Brooke, I see that you're on here too. Brooke?
What?
Are you on here, Brooke, or did she leave? Brooke is also somebody that's met their goal. Laura, do you feel that you know how to stop when you're full now?
Oh yeah.
And I mean, I never had that conversation with you. You just learned it throughout following the meals,
Right.
portions.
Yeah, totally.
Mm-hmm.
My stomach knows, like, it's almost like I eat, because all the meals are kind of similar size.
Yeah, they all are.
Snacks. So
Yeah.
my stomach just kind of knows like, yep, that's about right.
Yeah.
Unless I'm out to dinner too.
I mean, do I want to keep eating? Yeah, but I know, like again, yesterday was my bestie's birthday. We went out to lunch, and I wanted to keep eating, but I pulled the egg off of the half of the sandwich because I knew if I ate that, I would be too full. It's just like I just know.
That's what I have to do is learn to stop.
Yep.
If I know I want it and I want to keep eating it, but I need to learn how to stop.
So what will help is tell yourself, I want to be hungry in 3 hours. I'll get to eat then.
Yeah.
You won't be hungry if you keep eating. You
Mhm.
want to feel that hunger because it will taste better. And if you feel that hunger, that's your metabolism going.
Okay.
If you go up for that second helping, you're never going to feel that hunger.
Mhm.
Larry, are you listening? Larry, are you listening? I'm picking on Larry. Anyways, does that make sense?
Yes.
It's hard. You're not going to get it right away. This is not an easy thing. But I wanted to bring it up because it's a learned thing, and I guess I'll end tonight by talking about a piece of research that I read that literally changed the way I think, and it's a study that was done years ago, and you could look it up. It was a 2-decade-long study that was done by scientists and researchers, where they took over 100 toddlers and they watched their eating behaviors. And 50 of them were from households that had the philosophy of clean your plate, eat everything off your plate. You're not leaving this table till you are full. And when you finish everything off your plate, you can have dessert. So they followed these families. The other 50 were of the thought of, you're done, that's all you're going to eat, you're dismissed. And so they watched the behaviors of these kids up through adolescence, and close to 89% of the ones in the households that were told to finish everything off their plates grew up to be overweight and obese, because they found fulfillment in feeling full. They were taught that was full, was good. Where the other group learned to stop eating when they were satisfied. And so, in a sense, we've all been disrupted because we are taught to eat. And in our generation, you know, knowledge of nutrition and that was different than it is now. And they concluded that at the age of 3, not 2, not 4, not 5, the age of 3, children are able to distinguish when they're full. By the age of 4, it becomes confused by other factors. And at the age of 2, they're not old enough because the parents are feeding them. At 3, children know when to stop. They're able to stop. And that can be learned by adults. And I read this study and I thought, well, I'm going to learn how to do this. And it's true, because I bring this up again. How many times have you been to a birthday party where you look at the kids' table and there's full slices of birthday cake sitting there with one bite taken out of each one, and the kids are all off playing, and the adult table, every piece is swiped clean and then some. We are taught to clean everything off your plate, whether it tastes good, whether you like it, whether you're stuffed, whether you have a stomach ache, doesn't matter, you're eating it. Kids, they know when they're done, they leave, they're full. We will keep eating it. And I've experienced it. I've seen people do it. We eat things that don't even taste good. So you have to be aware of that. Every bite you take, you literally have to say, I think I'm done. And stop. It's a conversation you have to have. And it will be life-changing to you. And also remember, you get to eat again. It's not like it's your last meal. So, okay, it's truly life-changing. So make that an assignment for you. And know too that if you're eating the right things, if you're grabbing sun chips and raisins, thinking that that's a good choice, you're going to be hungry a half hour later. And that's not going to work. It has to be essential. It has to be the right protein, the right carbs, the right fats. If you're just grabbing, M&Ms and Doritos, that is not going to fill you. It has to be done the right way. So,
Irene,
and the
can
meal
I eat
plan's set up for this. Yeah.
can I eat too many eggs?
Could
I
you?
feel like there's lots of options throughout the day where I can have an egg, and I like eggs, and I'm like, should I be eating eggs every day?
Well, I wouldn't eat more than like 3 a day.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Because I'm thinking like if I have eggs for breakfast and then later there's a snack for an egg, I shouldn't have the snack for an egg. But it's easy. Like for me, especially if I'm thinking of my car stuff, like I really have to plan 3 things in the car
Yeah.
a day. So I'm just challenged there. So
Yeah.
I'm trying to think like of other easy grab,
Yep.
options.
Yeah, I would only be careful just because of the and they're
Cholesterol.
no longer tied to cholesterol, but I would
Oh.
not do more than 3.
Okay.
Yeah. So.
All right. Thanks.
All right, you guys. Any more questions? All right. Well, I'm gonna go eat because I'm hungry. Are you guys hungry? I was prepared. I made dinner this morning at 3 a.m. in preparation for.
That's
tonight.
just wrong.
I slept till no, I take it wrong. I slept till 3 today instead of 2. So there you go. My best friend has a problem with my hours.
Yeah, a big time problem. It's just not right.
All
So
right, you
you should
guys.
just go straight to bed.
I know. I should.
No, if you stay up longer, you don't have to get up at 2 in the morning, is my philosophy.
I'm still gonna get up at 2 in the morning. It doesn't matter.
Oh,
All right, guys. I will see you. Oh, Thursday is a workshop for MyFitnessPal. Okay. Be there. Be square.
What is it? When? Where? How? What?
Thursday, 6 o'clock. It's a workshop for MyFitnessPal, like how to actually work it. So,
Gotcha.
okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye, thanks.
See ya.